EV interiors, love them or hate them, they are changing the way that we interact with our cars. Some say they're futuristic, others say that they've lost their soul. Today, let's talk about what's working, what's not, and what you think makes a great EV interior. Let's get into it. Firstly, and perhaps most importantly, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. That is the minimalist element in the room. Minimalism is something which is very hard to pronounce and something which is very hard not to talk about when you're describing the interior of EVs. But what is your take? It could be argued that Tesla was the brand to make minimalism a big thing, with no buttons, no nothing, just one big screen where you control all of your functions. But have we taken it too far? And this is something which everyone really likes. And of course, at the other end of the spectrum, we have cars like BYD, the BYD C-Line 7, for example, which has a button for almost every function. Some EV owners love having everything controllable in one screen, but others say that touch controls make simple functions much more complicated. But what do you think? Or would it be the best to have a good balance of both of these? We saw this, for example, in the Zeekr, which of course had a very strong digital experience with a big screen and lots of touch controls, but actually also had physical controls as well, which could be used for the more commonly used and the more urgently used functions. Perhaps this is the best of both worlds. Let us know what you think in the comments. As for materials, so soft touch plastics. We still have Nappa leather on higher trims, as well as faux leather alternatives, as well as piano black, which I know is a big favorite among users. And of course, we do have sustainable elements, including recycled and reclaimed materials, especially from those Scandinavian brands. And as I said, I know people have very strong opinions about piano black. It looks good, but after about 5 minutes, it gets very dusty, it gets lots of fingerprints, and it's a nightmare to keep looking good. I don't know, do you have piano black in your car? Make sure you let us know how you deal with it. So let's move over to the driver's area now, and gone are the days of a big circular RPM gauge, at least in pure electric cars. But what is replacing them, and what is needed so that you can access your key driver's information when you're driving your EV? So of course, many EVs, not all, but many EVs have their own version of a driver's cluster, and these come in various shapes and sizes. I don't feel like these need to be too big. My favorite among these are the ones that try to be more low-key and actually are recessed into the dashboard, so you can barely notice them and the passenger can't even see it. Not that you are watching anything you shouldn't be watching, of course. So then we have the all-important steering wheel. Once again, different sizes, different shapes, different amount of buttons on these. A lot of brands tend to go for the more minimalist look with just 1 or 2 buttons on either side to keep a cleaner look, but this is really a brand preference. And another thing is the shape. So while many brands still go with the more oval shape or circular shape, we do have more and more steering wheels that have this flat bottom. So what is the function of this? Well, this relates to intelligent vehicles. Intelligent vehicles are usually EVs, let's be honest. And this flat bottom means that when you're using your intelligent features such as level 2 autonomy or higher, you're using adaptive cruise control, using lane keep assist or whatever, you can just have your hands sitting here, which is much more comfortable, especially if you're doing long trips on the motorway. You're not up here trying to take control of the vehicle. You're putting your faith in the vehicle and you're sitting here and you're just enjoying the ride. Then of course we have the yoke style steering wheel, which is made famous by Tesla and its Model S Plaid, I suppose, but we have seen other brands using this, especially here in China. I think this type of steering wheel should be banned immediately. I don't think it's practical. I actually think it can be a little bit dangerous because when you're turning, sometimes you can lose grip of it. Of course, Tesla cars, a lot of them that use this do have drive-by wire. Okay, the final thing about the driver section I wanted to mention was about the gear stick. So a lot of different EVs have their gear stick in different places, which can be a little bit tricky when you're driving lots of different EVs as part of your job. So some of them have it in the center unit as is traditionally found. So it could be a kind of up and down push gear stick, and can actually be a rotating gear stick as well. However, more and more we're seeing the gear stick here where the wipers might traditionally be, which I don't know how you feel about that. For me, it's something I had to get used to. The first couple of times I drove a car, an EV with a gear stick here, especially in the rain, I accidentally put it in neutral while I was driving along, which wasn't a big deal, but I did it a few times. Eventually I figured out it wasn't something I should be doing, but I guess this is a preference thing. So let us know where you want your gear stick. One of the benefits of an EV is that it's not engineered in the same way as a traditional gasoline car. That means you can be more innovative with your use of space, especially here in the front section. So we've had hidden compartments and huge center consoles, while other brands choose to strip things back and keep it simple. We've had hideable storage like the glove box and the cup holders in the Volvo EX30, which could be considered a pretty innovative use of space, especially in a smaller city car. And we've also have those cars which like to focus more on the driving experience. The Polestar 4 is a standout example of this, as well as the smart #3, which encourage you to put your phone away, close everything off to the world, and focus on enjoying your driving experience. So many EVs today come with heated and ventilated seats, but are they a game changer or are they overhyped? I know for those living in hot or colder places, using things like your heated seat, like your heated steering wheel, as well as ventilated seats can help to improve the amounts you get out of your battery. Instead of just blasting the air conditioner, a warm seat or a cool seat can help to keep you the right temperature if the weather is too hot or too cold. Some EVs even come with massaging seats, but are these a novelty or are they genuinely useful? So talking about interior space, and EVs are a different beast. The battery's underneath the floor, and sometimes this can bring the floor up, which can compromise the interior space, especially in models like sedans where the headroom is already a little bit tight. That is why we see so many SUVs and coupe SUVs when it comes to electric vehicles. They just make more sense with how EVs are engineered. Of course, they don't look as good as sedans, but they're definitely more practical. This, of course, goes for the second row as well. And if you have higher requirements when it comes to the second row seats, maybe you have kids or you have adults that will sit here on a regular basis, it's worth considering an SUV or at least a coupe SUV for your electric vehicle. Coupe SUVs, which are extremely common when it comes to EVs, try to bring the best of SUVs in terms of practicality while still offering a good design, and that's something which is nice to look at, and a good drag coefficient so you get more out of your battery. The only downside with these cars is that sometimes the rear headroom is a little bit compromised because the back comes down and it can reduce the headroom. But I think for most normal sized people, you shouldn't have an issue here. So let's talk very quickly about the digital experience. And of course, the digital experience is not exclusive to electric vehicles, but it just so happens that the rise of electric vehicles is also coming at the same time as the rise of intelligent vehicles and vehicles which are digitally led in their experience. So many EVs do this the best. And I think this is an area which highlights the differences between Chinese and European or US automotive brands in terms of their digital experience. And it's something which China does so much better than other brands around the world. The experiences are usually very fast. They have leading chips in them. They have a large, clear screen around this size. This is around 15 inches, 15.4 inches, which seems to be a popular size. And although perhaps there are no physical buttons, the menus are very intuitive, so you know exactly where to go for the thing that you need. And I think electric vehicles, while they have a different powertrain, their digital experience is so far ahead of those other more traditional brands and traditional fuel vehicles. And it is really changing the way that we interact and we connect with our cars. So there we go, different types of EV interiors, some good, some bad, some outright strange, but we want to know what you think makes a good EV interior. What do you love or hate about your EV's interior? And what do you think is a must-have for the interior of an EV to make the experience just right? Make sure you let us know in the comments, and be sure to give us a like and a subscribe. I'll see you next time.